That's the thing I love about you guys is that this is such a safe space.
Mute Joe real quick. All right, here we go. Gang hang. Good morning, everyone. I am sorry we missed a show this week. I was traveling for work. I'm back. We're having a gang hang. My name is Matt Baum. Across from me is the second head on the show.
I'm the internet's Joe Patrick.
There he is. He's done this a few times. He knows what's up. It's been more than a week since the Fantastic Four came out. All right.
And Superman.
And
Why
Superman.
are you only talking about the one movie?
Because I thought we already talked about Superman quite a bit. And like, what do you want to talk about?
We didn't talk about Superman at all.
Okay,
no one had seen it at the time.
We could talk about Superman as well. But I'm going to say full spoilers, off the leash. Let's go. So you've been warned if you haven't seen it yet. The good thing about I think both of these movies is I feel like the directors were smart enough to do this without giving someone that spoiler moment that can ruin the whole movie. There's little things, but there was like nothing I could tell you that happened in Fantastic Four. You'd be like, holy shit,
For example,
you know,
Superman snapping a guy's neck at the end.
Sure.
There's no moment like that in the
At this point, it's a spoiler if that doesn't happen.
Well, they did it very tastefully this
fair.
time. He put the guy in a leg scissors and broke his legs with his thighs. You know,
It was brutal, bro. It was so brutal.
You know what? Hey, before we get into all that, Jim really wants to talk about Sandman.
No, we can talk about the end. It's kind of a gag.
We'll get there.
Jim, you're probably the only one that's watched it.
Let's get there. No, I've been watching
really good.
Sandman as well. I've been watching, and we'll get there.
I'm gonna be doing it.
Let's start with movies, and then we'll do some Sandman talk. But for like in order, let's go. Superman came out before Fantastic Four, and I think Superman kind of swallowed some of Fantastic Four's media cycle. It doesn't mean it's not bad, and it did really well, made money. But let's talk about Superman first. I saw it. I had the worst theater experience I could possibly think of. I went to one of those theaters where I thought I was going to the IMAX one because they were like Ultra Max or whatever. I was like, oh, cool. That sounds neat. I'll take the Ultra Max. They literally had a smaller, huge screen, and then they project shit on the sides of the theaters. And it is the most distracting, stupid way to ever see a film. Don't do it. It's so dumb. Do not fall for it.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
That's
it was
weird.
so dumb. It was like this. It was like the screen had wings that went onto the sides of the theaters, and it was just.
Whoa.
And the second I walked in, I went, "Shit! Like, what did I do?"
Wow. Yeah, man, I saw it in 4D, and that was an experience too. But it was still, I still was able to focus on the movie when I wasn't being, punched. Literally.
4D is the one where the chair literally punches you, right?
Yeah, and moves, and there's like breezes and mist coming down, like in the Antarctic scene and all that stuff. It was actually kind of fun, but it was an experience.
4D means he was watching it in time as well as in space.
Right. Like he left, and he had gained 6 hours. It was really weird.
Right, we're talking about higher dimensions here.
Yeah, man, I definitely crossed over into the multiverse. It was interesting.
So Superman, though,
Was it the movie Matinee that posited that? Remember that John Goodman movie? It had like smell-o-vision and all this.
I don't know.
But that was a thing though in the.
No, but like he's talking about
60s and 70s.
But there was a comedic thing. I think it was I think it was a Kentucky Fried Movie. The one where you went to the theater and it was like there was a guy that stood next to you and like sprayed you with scents and like slapped your face and like you're like
the movies being a sensory experience was something that was tried often in the 60s and 70s. I don't know if it goes all the way back to the 50s with like monster movies and stuff, but like disaster movies would have like seats that shook,
Sure.
But like that was very much a real thing that actually happened.
I didn't mean to derail us. Let's talk about Superman.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do. We got James Gunn's. Finally, we have an idea of what the DC universe is going to look like with James Gunn's Superman. We had looks at all kinds of superheroes here. Hawkgirl, loved her. Even the stupid Scream, which I didn't think I was going to like. I liked it.
I mean, I didn't need the Scream, but I also didn't.
But I liked it.
The Scream, like who cares?
Yeah.
Guy Gardner
so the DC
stole the goddamn show. He was good. Guy was so good.
Superman starts with like an intro, not a crawl, but similar to like the Star Wars crawl, where it's like, this is the world. And it said, and back me up on my numbers here, but I know it's all multiples of 3, but it's like 300 years ago,
Right.
metahumans walked the earth.
It was 3,000.
Oh, 3,000.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is
great.
3,000. Yep.
So, 3,000 years ago, metahumans walked the earth. And then it was like 30 years ago, a rocket from the planet Krypton landed in Smallville, Kansas. 3 years ago, Clark Kent of Smallville came to Metropolis, made his debut as Superman, and he's been Superman for 3 years.
Right.
Gosh, boy, a lot of the discussions that I was having online, people were like, well, hold on. If it was only 300 years ago, how does that account for like the Camelot stuff that they've teased?
3,000.
But it was 3,000.
Yeah.
It was 3,000.
Which is like negative
no, that's good.
negative 975 BC or whatever. So it's been a while. We also got like the weird. There was a whole. It was like a 3-part picture of sort of metahuman history that they dropped.
That was like a mosaic in
Right.
the Hall of Justice.
Right. And it showed
it
showed some of this, a little bit of it here and there. El
There's some good
Diablo.
breakdowns actually.
Yeah, El Diablo's there for
actually,
some reason, which I just love.
Yeah, he is. And Super Chief.
Yeah. Super Chief was there. Yeah. But I will say, I think the most important thing that they had to do and that James Gunn did do was make a Superman movie that is kind of hard to be pissed at. And there were people that were pissed at it, like, oh, he's super woke or whatever, which like they said about Captain America. So that's not even a real argument. But the fact that it was just like they address it and he's basically gets mad and he's like, look, I'm just a nice fucking guy. I'm not trying to make a political statement. I'm just nice. And I'm trying to do my best to be human. Do you know how hard that is? And I really like that aspect of it. And there's this guy that I work with that hates Superman. He's like, Superman's fucking dumbest. You know, all the dumb reasons they hate Superman. And he went and saw it and he walked out and he's like, I think I get Superman now. I think I totally kind of understand what they were going for. And maybe those other Superman movies, and he was talking about the Zack Snyder movies. He's like, maybe they were just trying to do something that I didn't like there. And I felt so bad for Superman in that moment. It's like, oh,
ding, 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 ding.
That was your only, like, because if you don't read comics, that was it. You had the 80s stuff, a couple of movies that were like, meh, and then you had the Zack Snyder shit. So, ugh.
Yeah. I think the problem with, sorry, Joe.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the problem with the Snyder movies when it came to Superman, and this is the part that I just, like, I couldn't stand. I think I've said it on the podcast before, but even the beginning stuff where they show his origin, like with his parents and all that stuff, and it's not that they have lack of empathy, but there's a little bit too much of an edge that and all of a sudden, you know, people either through secondhand means or watching the movie, they kind of expect Superman to have an edge, which is weird. And that's the part I couldn't stand, like, that particular portrayal when that movie came out, because all of a sudden it's like, oh, he has to be this brooding alien that comes to Earth. I'm like, that's not what he is at all.
if your take on Superman includes a version of the Kents where they do not teach him to put himself last, then your version is doomed.
Well, it's like it was the wrong lessons is what he was showing. Like the same way that James Gunn, I think, did a really nice job of showing, yes, Superman is a very powerful person. Superman has a ton of power, but that in and of itself becomes a different responsibility. And Zack Snyder was just like, I gotta show that there's some things power can't stop. And if I can't think of a good way to put that on the screen, I'll write something stupid like his dad going, no, son, don't go save those kids in that bus. You know, like,
that line pissed me off so much
it's just like,
came out. I can't.
That's just bad writing.
And then, of course,
that's all that is. It's bad writing, you know? And I think,
of course, the Zod thing also cemented it at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
but the writing in the sense, and it was a little in your face when Superman, like, finally does yell at Lex, comes in the control room and finally does yell at him. And he's like, you know what? He's like, I get up every day and I'm I'm afraid I'm going to screw up and I'm afraid I'm not going to be the right guy and stuff. Like, yeah, That's all you had to do. Have Superman look into the camera and go, I get it, hater, but here's what you don't know about me. You know, here's what you're maybe not thinking about. Oh, and he was great.
And then, of course, and I love the Krypto, of course, punctuated that entire conversation at the end by throwing Lex around like a rag doll.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was a very low-key Hulk moment. It was fun, you know?
So, regarding the mosaic, I actually have a full list of the characters that are on the mosaic. And so these are characters that you can infer, because of their inclusion, mean that they exist in some form in the DCU. Whether we'll see them or not, you know, probably not. But
I keep trying to copy the point, like post that link to. Oh yeah, no, it is. It's just copying it as so you can see it right there.
I'm just gonna say real quick, the mosaic is my favorite part of the whole movie. Like that's all I want.
It's wild, man. It's wild.
Heroes. That's all I want.
It is wild.
It is such a treat. So here's the list. I came up with the list. I posted it on James Gunn's Instagram when they released the actual full mosaic. And so here we go. From left to right, and it's in chronological order. So Madame Xanadu in her guise as, I believe, Sister Symmetry, which I don't know what that's from. The Silent Knight, Exoristos from the Demon Knights, which is New 52 book. John Valor, a.k.a. the Black Pirate. Whoop, whoop. Starman fans. Miss Liberty, Whip Whirlwind, who is an earlier version of Max Mercury.
What?
Yes. Max Mercury.
Oh, Old West Max Mercury.
Max Mercury's on here twice. Yeah.
Okay. He was Old West Max Mercury.
Because he's adopted more than one identity throughout the years.
But he was like a cowboy in the Old West.
Yes, essentially something like that. Yeah. Super Chief, El Diablo, the cowboy El Diablo. Or he's like a Zorro figure. There is a character that I think is either Iron Monroe or Iron Monroe's dad. If you don't know who Iron Monroe is, he's a character from the Young All-Stars in the 80s. Young Justice Society kind of, not sidekicks, but contemporaries. But canonically, Iron Monroe's dad is a character named Hugo Danner, who is a character from like Pulp Fiction. And so if it's Hugo Danner, that means that Hugo Danner is the only character to ever be featured in media published by Marvel and DC in canon.
What? Really?
Yeah. Because he's a public domain character. Like he's the only character tied to history.
Okay.
Of these of the continuity of these universes that both companies have used. Rip Graves, who is also known as the Ghost of Flanders, who is a character I have literally never heard of.
Yeah, what the hell? Who chose
British
these? Were they like, hey, Mark Waid, we're making this thing for the movie. It's going to be a very short scene.
Yeah, 100%.
But nerds are going to freak out of it. And Mark Waid was like, well, if Rip Graves is not involved, then I walk. You know, or like,
the whole exercise is doomed.
Right.
Sandman, Wesley Dodds Sandman. Yep. Amazing Man, who is a character from the All-Star Squadron. Zatanna's dad. Liberty Bell, Bullet Man, Max Mercury in his more recognizable form. Bullet Girl, TNT, and Dan the Dynamite.
That's awesome.
Fun deep cuts. Phantom Lady, Atomic Knight, Freedom Beast, Wildcat. Fucking Wildcat. I know. I'm so happy
about that. Yeah, me too.
Vibe.
Yeah.
Thank God.
80s.
Thank God. Vibe.
Did we already have Vibe? Like recently?
Well, we had Vibe in the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
Vibe also showed up in the Teen Titans cartoon as well, though. Vibe was around there, right? Or the Young Justice cartoon? What was the most recent one? I can't remember. I think it was the Young Justice cartoon.
Oh, Vibe maybe he was.
He was probably in one of those.
Yeah. He did not look as stupid as I was hoping Vibe would look. Like, I want him to show up with the extremely deep V and everything. Like, whoa.
This good baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best character in this entire mosaic, Gunfire.
Holy shit.
From the 90s, which which makes me hope that Bloodlines is in continuity, which also means that Hitman is in continuity.
Okay, but does throwing something like gunfire in there, is this just like, this is being hysterical, right? This is yeah, we're having fun too.
If we ever see gunfire in anything outside of like maybe like a Creature Commandos sort of thing where it's all
Peacemaker,
weirdos.
baby.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Peacemaker.
You're right. We got
Peacemaker, yeah.
we got Peacemaker and we got some ridiculous. So gunfire literally made guns appear. That was his job. Like he was like a Green Lantern with guns.
He could turn anything into a gun. So like if he picked up a rock, he could like make the like fire
like,
chunks
shoot,
of the
like,
rock off like
yeah.
bullets.
He would
make
make
rock-
projectiles out of them.
Jesus, I'm gonna say it's like make like a rock Glock or something like that. I don't know.
So
Holy
gunfire's
and then the last
in your
character-
kid sister's room, and gunfire's in trouble, and the bad guy's right there. He picks up the kid sister's hamster, and he can turn the hamster into a gun. That's what you're telling me.
That is correct, 100%.
Good Lord.
In Hitman 1 Million, Gunfire 1 Million turns his ass into a hand grenade on accident.
All right. Well,
And then our final character is Maxwell Lord, as played by Sean Gunn. So yeah, that's the mosaic, and I'm tickled pink by everything on this thing.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it's like there's enough there to say, look, we can tell any kind of story we want. Any kind of story that you love in DC, we can tell. Because here's serious characters, here's ridiculous characters, here's important characters, and here are characters you've never heard of. Like there's quality comics characters here that they brought over to DC. It's nuts.
James Gunn said that specifically, and he didn't say obviously which ones, but he said they are, and he's not going to reveal it yet, but he says there are literally 2 characters on that mural where he plans to really if they're going to have important roles. And I'm wondering if, for example, Max Mercury might be one of them with the Speed Force and everything.
Yeah, Max makes sense to be one.
I think so. If you're going to do the Flash, start with Max Mercury. Because that's a Flash story that you haven't seen told, right? From that aspect. It would be a cool take to be like, before we get to Wally West or we get to Barry, we're going to start with
They
Max
might
Mercury.
use him to introduce the idea of the Speed Force.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Too.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, obviously one of those characters is Sean Gunn, Maxwell Lord, because he's in Peacemaker season 2.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
he showed up in Superman too. He had a cameo in Superman.
He at the very, very end of Superman, I love that thing where he's just like, I don't need to spend any money to tell you Lex Luthor sucks or whatever it was he says.
Yeah, and he's like, finally, somebody got liberals and Republicans to agree. Lex Luthor fucking sucks.
Yeah. But yeah, the Superman movie is so wonderful. Tone wise, it is perfect. Like there are things that you can like nitpick about, and I get it, but it was everything I wanted it to be, everything I needed it to be.
So you guys, what did you think of Lex? Because some of the criticism I saw was the Lex character didn't have enough to do. He basically stood behind a screen and called out video game moves the whole time. What did you get?
You know something? On that point, that's perfect. This is the type of guy who wants to kind of be in the thick of things, but he's not below or above, I should say, using somebody like the clone Superman or whatever he's going to end up being, just to punch somebody behind the screen.
Yes,
it gets the job done for him. He doesn't care,
and take all the credit for it. Think about because this is obviously Elon Musk is what we're doing.
Yes,
we're doing 100%. Elon Musk, and we've got a guy who's really, really rich and thinks he's very intelligent and just wants to take credit for shit. It's not his fault when a SpaceX rocket blows up, but when it's a success, yep, that was all me, 100%. I did it. Yeah. When you come in and start saying we're cleaning up government spending, do you see all these duplicates in Social Security? And it's like, that's because you don't know how to read a spreadsheet. You gotta settle down, man.
Hey, Frank, you might want to leave the room for this next part. Because we're going to talk about Ultraman real quick.
Yeah, Well, first, like Lex, this is the best Lex Luthor we have seen since Gene Hackman, right?
Oh yeah,
100%.
He was fantastic.
To me, this is I hate going back to the Snyderverse, but I promise this is the last time we were going to mention this. They were trying to do something like this with the Jesse Eisenberg character, as Lex, I should say. Because I mean, the smarmy kind of rich guy who's kind of like you would think almost like the Facebook type guy or whatever.
Right. They picked the wrong billionaire.
I don't believe that this version of Lex Luthor ever left a jar of his own urine on anybody's desk.
No, God, no. Yeah.
They picked the wrong billionaire for that one to make fun of. So that's all they did.
But what it does show is that this is somebody who really, really wants to be in the same breath of like the greatest minds on Earth.
Right.
And the thing of the Superman that, obviously puts him diametrically opposed to that. It's not something we haven't seen in stuff like, the comics and the animated series and things. He just can't understand how this dude can just go in there, be adored by the public just by, being nice, essentially. And, he doesn't flex his power. I mean, it's not like he's like, subjugating anyone or anything like that. And it pisses him off because he doesn't know how to do that.
Right. But they did the thing, right? Where it's like, where Lex is his whole mission statement is, if it wasn't for Superman, we could be great.
Right.
And Superman is like, the only one keeping us from being great is you. I'm not here to stand in the way of you being great.
I don't even know if it's that. I think Superman's like, I'm not worried about it because I think we're already great. Like you're
maybe it's that
like
as well.
You're freaking out about something
right,
and making everyone
Superman's,
else.
But Lex's whole thing has always been an excuse that Superman is holding humanity back, specifically Lex Luthor back.
Right.
And Superman will be the first one to say, I want humanity to thrive. What's stopping you?
Right. And that was the beauty, like just the little things they did when we found out like Lex created a pocket universe, which I love that they went straight super villain genius with him, like genius level super villain.
It is so like unapologetically comic book.
And I love it.
They encompass that too. The Mad Inventor version of Lex too. That
yes, and it's perfect. And then you meet Mr. Terrific, who is also brilliant, but has a moral compass. And Lois is like, well, wait a minute, he did what? Like, is that even possible? He's like, yeah, I could do it too. He's like, but you don't do it because it's grossly irresponsible. Like he's
like there was that line where Mr. Terrific is like, this is why you don't create a pocket.
Right. Yeah. It's like, and it's the same thing. Like,
so sick of all this shit, man.
We see this in DC Comics all the time. And we'll talk about it with Reed, in Doom later, I'm sure. But like, yes, you can do this stuff, but you got to think about what you're doing it and how you're doing it. Whereas Lex is just like, even when it goes wrong and it's ripping the city in half, Lex is like, don't worry, we'll fix it later, because he's so tied up in his own ego, maniac.
He doesn't even care. No, he doesn't even care about fixing it. Yeah. Later. He's like, we'll find another city. We'll find another place.
Like, he doesn't care. Yeah. He's already in the ship. Like whatever, the building fell apart. He's like, okay, I got to float
He
ship.
says it. He says it out loud. He's like, he says it out loud. He says, screw these people. They chose him.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's brilliant. So when you do get that Superman Lex moment where Superman says, this is who I am, we've already learned who Lex is. We've already learned why he's the bad guy. And Lex's best quality is Lex doesn't realize he's the bad guy.
By the way, this is a side note. Did you? And it's actually somewhat important to that exact thing. Do you know who Mr. Handsome is?
Mr. Handsome?
Okay, so there's a guy.
Mr. Handsome is the creature that runs the little like sky raft,
whatever.
The little space gondola in the Pocket Universe.
Oh, gotcha.
So
yeah.
So his origin. So apparently, this is James Gunn who said this. This is Lex's first ever experiment that he ever did with genetics when he was 12. And I don't know if it's a clone of him or not, but he literally just keeps him around and that may be the only creature or thing that he cares about because it's his creation that he ever did.
Gross.
So he just keeps him around. In fact, if you look on his desk, there's actually a picture of Mr. Handsome there too. So it's probably the only thing he cares about. The world is one of his little
cool. Okay, I'm glad that's what it is, because there was a part of me that was afraid he was going to lean over and he's like my friend John here. He was an alien. I was like, don't make that the Martian Manhunter.
I really thought that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be a reveal, and it wasn't. So,
so far fantastic.
Hold on.
About Lex real quick though, just for a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the whole button pressing video game aspect, I think it's good because it gives you a real opportunity to level Lex in later movies.
Yes.
Right, like it gives you a stepping up potential. It doesn't seem like this seems like the idea that you have 3 years into trying to deal with the problem, and I feel like if Nicholas Hoult is going to return, it gives an opportunity to have like bigger and better ideas for him to have, like
100.
more diabolical.
Yep.
But the other thing I wanted to just say real quick about the current political aspects of the movie, it really does mirror. It's like make Metropolis great again, right?
Yeah.
It's like we would be amazing if it wasn't for this one particular thing that's actually helping you and making things better.
Right.
That's bad. And if you just listen to me, the evil guy, everything would be better if we just got rid of these Mexican immigrants. Sorry, I mean Superman.
Well, don't forget about trans girls in high school sports too. We got to get rid of that as well, right? It's terrifying.
Of course.
You can't have it.
Exactly.
No,
it's a very clever, subtle way to inject good politics into a movie, unlike something like ham-fisted like Avatar or something like that.
Right. Also, just based on that first, when you said leveling up Lex, this makes perfect sense. If they want to put Lex in a purple and green battle suit in the next movie, I will totally buy that the lesson Lex learned is I need to be in the suit. I can't be behind there pressing the buttons. I need to be in the suit. That's the only thing that makes sense. Right.
He wants to be able to be the one that punches Superman. Yeah.
Well, and I actually think it gives you a good idea of Lex becoming president at some point too.
Right.
Right. Like I think. Then you really, because the power struggle is between like world politics and Superman's ability in the beginning of the movie, which I think is like the most interesting part of it. Is like Superman's right. People are going to die, but the world shouldn't be that complicated, but it is.
Well,
right? And I think that if you put Lex as president, then you really got like, the ultimate power going up against each other.
Totally. And they were able to use that to show you, oh, by the way, Lois is the smartest person in this movie. Lois is absolutely the smartest person in the movie.
She's the cleverest person in the movie.
She was wonderful. But I mean, like, she was the one that was able, and I loved that instantly they were just like pulled the wool off. And they're like, no, Lois knows who he is. Of course he does. They've been dating for a while. She's too smart. She figured it out really fast.
Well, but we don't know. Like, we don't know how she found out. We don't know if she figured it out or if he told her, because they fell in love.
He probably
they didn't really go into detail.
She totally figured it out.
I like to think that's, I love this. Like, I have this headcanon theory about a lot of characters like Perry White and Commissioner Gordon, at least the comic book versions, they're so close. They're so close to the people involved, and they've been working together for so long that, of course, Commissioner Gordon knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman, but he just doesn't say anything out of respect and whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the same with Perry White and Superman, because Perry White is one of the greatest investigative reporters to ever exist in the DC universe.
Yeah, they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, and but Lois Lane, though, specifically has a long history of being a real dumb bum when it comes to Superman's secret identity.
Sure.
So I want to talk about Ultraman, because Damon brought up Lex cloning and Mr. Handsome and stuff.
The guy in the suit.
So Ultraman is the guy in the suit who very clearly is a physical threat to Superman, on par with him in his abilities. And we had a theory some time ago that under that suit, we were going to see a clone of Superman of some kind, whether it's Bizarro or otherwise. It is indeed a straight up clone of Superman. But he's not all there because cloning Kryptonians is hard.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Well, also, I'll buy that he's not all there because Lex was like, I want an idiot that I can control.
But that's not what he
literally
said. He says, he's not as advanced mentally because Kryptonian DNA is a tough nut to crack. Like those are the words he says in the movie. And at the end of the film, Ultraman gets sucked into the black hole inside the Pocket Universe. Idiots online are like, Superman killed Ultraman. What? I'm like, shut up. Don't you guys have you ever even seen a comic book?
Yeah.
If you guys,
Also-
if people do not assume that character will return as Bizarro, they have never watched a movie in their lives.
Oh, I have an alternate theory, by the way, I've been seeing, and I'll throw it out there.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
Ultraman is Ultraman in the comics, as we know. He's from another Earth, and essentially that's their version,
right?
of
Alternate
evil
universe.
Superman, and, yeah, whatever. So somebody was also pointing out that it's possible that he could end up on whatever that Earth is, and he crash lands on that, whatever the planet is where the Injustice Society kind of forms,
Right.
and I don't know if he gets taken over or he kind of like actually starts to develop an intellect, and he comes from there, and whatever, we don't see him for a couple of movies, but then he shows back up with a whole crew, and he's just
I mean, that is that would be
Lex?
that would be a wild journey.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
But I also think, I mean, look, I don't personally need an Ultraman or a Bizarro story. I really don't. But if you're going to do this one, I think Bizarro is the way you have to go.
I think Bizarro is more obvious.
Right.
I think Bizarro is fun as a henchman.
Yeah,
I don't need
yeah.
a movie where Bizarro is the villain. I need a movie where Bizarro is being used by somebody to fight Superman.
Where you have a what if Superman was the Incredible Hulk type story, and it's not totally his fault.
From a studio perspective, it makes perfect sense because you don't have to cast anybody. You just cast.
There's also that.
Yeah, right, exactly.
There's also that. If we can't do Venom, if we can't do Venom versus red Venom versus black Venom, then like what? Then we got to do something with the actor.
There's something about the idea of Bizarro as an imperfect duplicate of Superman that's very poetic. To have to see them face off.
Yeah.
And that's why Bizarro makes for a great foil, but he is certainly not like a main antagonist.
No, I don't think you have to have like Superman 2 Bizarro World or something, where he shows up.
Well,
down and here, and he lands.
Oh my God. Let me tell you something though. What's funny, and I'm sure it's a coincidence, we'll see, but in the Pocket universe, if you look through that black hole very briefly, and in fact, pretty much all that little whatever that's around there, you realize everything's in cubes.
Yeah, it's all cubes. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I didn't see.
And what is Bizarro World?
Yeah, that's absolutely Bizarro. There's no question. 100%. That's Bizarro.
So I don't know what's going to happen. But
let's put a pin in the Ultraman / Bizarro talk so Frank can come back. Guy
Gardner though. I am so excited for more Guy Gardner, and they handle the character perfectly well. I love the idea that there is like this justice thing going on or whatever, like justice gang, whatever they want to call it. And I really like Metamorpho, and I like the idea of Metamorpho there. The one thing that ripped me out of that film was Metamorpho's kid. I did not give a shit.
Joey.
Didn't feel anything. I don't like that he's got a weird little green baby and it looked like a goddamn cartoon on the screen. Like it did not work.
I mean, that's fair, but that is comics canon.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying
that Metamorpho and that Rex and Sapphire have a kid, and the kid is messed up because of Rex's DNA.
Sure, and I'm fine with that.
That's how it is.
Doesn't he get better later?
Make it look better. Make that look better.
I don't know.
The weird CGI like in the summer of CGI babies, Joey is certainly much less impressive than Franklin.
Yeah, definitely. And Franklin, we'll get to Franklin a little bit. That got creepy, but I thought Krypto looks amazing, and they did a great job of it. There's definitely moments where I'm like, that's a cartoon dog. My brain could not see it as a real dog, but very close. They're getting very close. And I think Brian brought it up. There may have been a little too much Krypto. Like there was things where like Superman was going to die if Krypto wasn't there. You take Krypto out of this movie and Superman is dead. He 3 times almost.
That happens in comics, not Krypto in particular, but that's just comics in general.
Sure.
Like the hero's going to die if something doesn't happen.
I suppose. And if you want to give stakes to Superman, I suppose that helps. I do love that we found out who actually owns Krypto. And I love that little.
Oh, that was perfect at the end.
It was perfect.
Yeah, I was like, "Woman of Tomorrow, baby, here we come."
And my wife
immediately when I saw that.
I saw it with my wife, and she was like, "This was really fun." And she's like, "But I really, really like that when Supergirl shows up, she is a fucking train wreck. She's just like, what's up, bitches?" You know?
She's going off a bender, baby.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where we find Kara El at the beginning of Tom King's book. I mean, that's perfect.
Yes.
And there's gonna, I mean, if the amount of shit that she went through in the Winter of Tomorrow, they're gonna, which I'm sure they will. Yeah, there's probably a good reason why she wants to be kind of messed up at this point.
Sure.
She's been through it.
And like, look, I'm not saying that the Supergirl movie of the 80s was any good, but one of the biggest mistakes it made was just like, oh, you liked Superman the movie? Well, what if a woman was Superman? Like, we can't just tell the same story but put her in a skirt. You got to give us something. And I like the fact that they're leaning into that. Tom King, like, she's a wreck. She is not her cousin. She is a party animal. She is pissed off. She has an ill-behaved dog.
I personally felt triggered by the inclusion of Supergirl. I felt called out by it. She's representative of so many girls I dated in my 20s.
Oh, bro.
It's like, all right. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want. Like, isn't she hot? Oh, God, she's a mess. Oh, God.
She's pretty bad.
Hey, I don't want to like bring things to a screeching halt, but we're just past the halfway point.
Let's switch over.
Does anybody have any last minute Superman thoughts before we move on to the second blockbuster of the summer?
Or what do you want to see next? Where do you want Superman? And not next for the DCU, but what do you want to see next for Superman?
Good question. I mean, right now, I just want to see more of the character in general. But if you're talking about like the actual plots and villains and things like that, I mean, I can't even say, because I want to see how the DCU is going to be shaped forward. Right. I don't know if we need to see a Justice League movie of some sort, actual Justice League, like formation. I don't know if we need to see more of a personal journey. I just want them to keep the same level of empathy, though, however it goes with Superman, because I think that if you start to lean into too much of Superman's just going to be punching everything, right? And then you lose the core of the character that James Gunn has set up. That's the thing that I'm going to be a little like, that's the only thing I care about. As long as they keep this core, I'm willing to see whatever James Gunn comes up with next.
For sure. I think the Rick Flag thing in the end, where we saw like Rick Flag was in the room wherever they were, and we'll call it the Pentagon, right? With these government officials, and Lex was like, you have to listen to me.
It was the Pentagon, actually.
You have to listen to me. Like, this is bad news or whatever. And in that moment where Rick Flag sees like, yeah, these guys are in control now. Like, that could be the only thing that gets them to double down and be like, Lex, we're going to make it look like this is an accident. We agree with you. You need to run for president. And you vault Lex back in there. And
I had a different read on that, because I think that by the end of the movie, Rick Flag and the other guy, I don't remember his senator or whatever his role was. It seemed to me that they were like, Lex is out of control.
I mean, sure. And we want to get him under control, but he's not wrong.
And I don't know if you guys caught this, but in the movie where they arrest Superman, Rick Flag actually apologizes.
Yeah.
He says, I'm sorry.
I don't think Rick is a bad guy. I think Rick is realizing this can get out of control real fast.
But I don't think Rick is like, okay, well, I guess our next step is murder the metahumans.
No,
that's his plan.
But that'll get away from him as well. You overcompensate, and you end up with Trump as the president. I'm sorry, you end up with Lex as the president. It's
right. Yeah,
the needle keeps swinging and overcompensating. I like
the idea of Rick Flag as the pragmatist, but like Rick obviously knows that metahumans are can be beneficial because he's worked with a bunch.
Sure.
Yeah, creature commandos, man.
and like his son ran the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad ran the Saved the World. And like
redacted.
So
we don't know that. That's all been redacted. So.
Well, I don't think so, because in Peacemaker season 2, they talk about how Peacemaker killed Rick Fleck Jr.
James
That's the
Gunn
main point
Suicide
of the
Squad
next
movie
season.
is
Yeah, but the
canon.
world doesn't know
I think
this.
the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie is canon.
It counts,
No,
but
well,
the world
I
doesn't know
I actually
that.
don't know how much of it can be because I don't think Harley Quinn is in canon anymore.
Well,
I don't know.
That's
Jim.
a whole other realm. But anyway, all James Gunn said about that, by the way, is that it could be an imperfect memory, and he left it at that for now.
Fair,
It's
yeah,
just-
and I think that's a good place to leave it until they figure out what they're gonna do. But I would like to see characters inspired by Superman, in ways that characters that we know that we can get to without having to do, like, for example, the Death of Superman storyline. Like, I think that we can do a version of Steel.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and it could be very, very good.
Guardian. Don't forget the Gotham Guardian.
The Guardian of the project. Like, you want to tell me Project Cadmus is out there somewhere?
Oh,
mucking
sure.
around with clones. You bet.
100% they are.
Give me Superboy.
Give
him to me.
Give me the
I want
Newsboy
him.
Legion. Let's go. Give me the Forever People. Let's get into it.
I mean, you joke, but yeah, all of that is true.
Winston Duke as Steel would be amazing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
I would do that.
Absolutely
I would
fantastic.
take that as a second.
All right. Anyway, Superman's great. Frank, go see it. If you haven't seen it, 100% recommended.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Fantastic
How about
Four.
Fantastic Four?
Now, unfortunately, Fantastic Four, we don't have the same feelings. Fantastic Four was the train wreck we thought it was going to be. FF came out 2 weeks later, made a bunch of
Fucking
money.
rules.
Made a bunch of
I think
money.
it was great.
No.
Yeah.
No?
Who says no? Who says?
People, we do have some divided opinions on the Fantastic Four.
Who's saying no?
I figured.
I'm saying no.
Jimbo, get into it. Let's hear it. I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Okay. I thought the first hour of the film is great.
Sure.
Sets up everything, but the second half after they return is like Marvel drivel. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, Reed is not smart at all in this film.
Yep.
I thought Vanessa Kirby as Storm is great.
She was great.
Storm
Sue Storm. She was great.
but like the whole Galactus stuff.
Vanessa Kirby plays Storm of the X-Men.
Yes.
Sorry. No, it's just,
I'm
But-
kidding.
the Galactus stuff and the Franklin stuff was, I don't know. I didn't like it at all.
Okay. I don't 100% disagree with you as far as Reed went from being absolutely brilliant to my plan fell apart. What are we going to do? Don't worry, honey. I'll push him. I'll push him through town to a thing and then we'll punch him until he goes away.
Right.
I don't disagree with that. But
Had a Ghostbusters feel there.
yeah, very Ghostbusters.
Like he was the staple of Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, kind of a Stay
a
Puft
little bit of
Marshmallow Man. Now, with that said, God damn, that Galactus looked good. God damn,
Yeah,
that looked
I
good.
was listen.
Yes.
I just am happy that they did a movie where it's not like, oh, here's co-star number 2 from that MCU movie that's in
Right.
here, and you have to know this person, or maybe you heard of the character. No, they kind of sat with all these characters. You know, I'm sure that people have different opinions about how that was executed, but you got to know them as a family, which is
Yeah.
one of the most important things I've ever asked for Fantastic Four.
Yes.
All the characters had good chemistry.
Performances
the
were
plots
wonderful. I have no
Yeah.
notes on the performances. Even the Thing, who I was a little concerned, like we talked about the
Oh.
way that Cousin was delivering his lines. But then when you see the kind of person that Ben Grimm is, yes, he's big and strong. No, he does not want the spotlight. No, he does not walk around barking at people and yelling his clobbering time and shit. Like, he's kind of a reserved guy, so it makes sense he's kind of quiet. The best thing scene we got.
Black and white cookies from Yancey Street, and
where he's messing with the kids. And they're like, pick up the
The plot
car.
line with him goes nowhere with what's her face's character from Poker Face. Like,
Well, I don't know if that
it
was
doesn't
really
go
meant.
anywhere.
Well, she was introduced. I mean, here's the other thing, by the way. That I will say, I was hoping for Alicia. To be honest with you,
I was hoping for Alicia too.
yeah.
But how else are we going to find out that Ben's Jewish unless he falls in love with a nice Jewish girl and goes to
There you
check
go.
on her? You know.
Well, but here's the thing about Natasha Lyonne's character. Her name is Rachel Rosman, and that character is named for Jack Kirby's wife.
yes,
So she exists as a tribute to Jack Kirby, to
And
Roz Kirby.
That's great.
So that
Brian.
But
there's got to be more of this movie. I mean, I'm glad it was only like 2 hours long because
I
I
am
don't need
too.
longer movies than that these days. But there's a lot of this movie that I feel like got cut. Like there's so much of Ben in a jacket and a hat walking up and down alleyways. He's not going anywhere. He's got like a bag of groceries. Like he's in the building, then he's outside for someone to be like, I've got a family too. And then it cuts back to him in the living room again. Like, what is that? Like, he doesn't have a lot of character other than, the kids like him and he picks up the chair or the someone's car and got him. If somebody
that scene was great. That scene was great. It's like, where do you want me to throw it?
I'm gonna get myself in trouble.
Like, should I throw it over here? Like,
it's that, and then like he kind of vaguely flirts with this woman who doesn't have anything to do with the movie, and then I don't know. There's things where it's like they're scenes, but it's not a narrative in a lot of ways. And I felt like it was like my nephew was 9, loved it. My 8-year-old daughter liked it. My wife started to fall asleep in the beginning. But it's very like, this is a Fantastic Four movie. Here are all the plot points. And it kind of does exactly what you think it's going to do. There's so much of it. And it just felt like, I don't know. Like, I love the 60s, futuristic thing. Like, I think that's very cool. But we liked that before this movie. Like, it's a very cool look.
Right.
Like that's.
I kind of think like the movie hitting all of the familiar Fantastic Four bullet points is sort of what they needed it to do.
Well,
and that's like my point.
I think that they needed that because people are down on Marvel movies and they needed something that was just like, okay, this is exactly who these characters are, why they're appealing.
Sure.
And part of it is that a checklist of things, right?
I am not really a Fantastic Four fan in general because I feel like every story is like this, where it's like they're like the biggest book that is like Martian Manhunter, where it's like nothing ever changes. It's the same thing. It's the cyborg problem. It's like the same thing every time. Like, here we go.
You just wait until Sue puts on that bondage outfit.
Vanessa Kirby said Malice. She wants to do Malice.
I was waiting for Malice. I was like, let's do it. Let's get to Malice. And I was like, they would never do that. It just there's a lot of things where Reed is not a lot. I don't know. I mean, Reed always makes mistakes, but he's the smartest guy. Like, he's a defective character in that way that you have to write around, where it's like he is the smartest guy in the room, but everything is always his fault. And it's like, that's a great character flaw. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man, what are we doing? Like, they didn't understand where he looks at the baby and then he like figures it out. And they're like, what are you going to do, Reed? What is it? It's like, it's going to be bait, man. Like, of course it's going to be bait. Like, this is but they're like, what is it, Reed? And he's like, I can't say it. And she's like, I would never do it. And they're like, what is it, Reed? What is it? It's like, this is minutes of a 2-hour movie. He's going to use the baby as bait. Like,
you are not wrong.
Yeah, but
he can't just outright say, I'm just going to use the bait. I mean,
I like the fact that of course Reed thought of it, but refused to go there.
It was more the other two not having any idea what it was. It's like, well, what is it? What is it, Reed? It's like,
I think they did, though. Actually, to be honest, I think everybody knew what was going to come out of his mouth. More of
like a, go ahead and say it, I dare you kind of thing.
I don't think that there was just like they incredulously were like, what do we actually do? I think everybody knew at that point what Reed was going to say, and they were dreading it. And they were just like, hey, just
I would think an internationally renowned linguist like Johnny Storm would be able to figure that out right away.
That was Ian. Go ahead. Hold on, Ian.
Oh, did I have something?
No, Ian. I
thought I heard you talking.
Children making
I
noise
didn't mean to be on the spot. Don't worry about it.
No, Brian.
And by the way, I totally understand where people are coming from. I can only speak for me because Fantastic Four is one of the first comic books that I used to read and all that, back in the day.
Sure.
And I grew up enjoying the characters. So the reality is that, yes, is it kind of a predictable, kind of silly, to be honest with you, with some points? Yeah, a little bit.
Totally.
But you know what? I'm totally fine with this particular execution because as everyone said, it's a Fantastic Four movie.
Sure.
It includes all of the insane kind of like, oh my God, what are we doing in this comic book type of moments, including obviously the last part where you're gonna punch Galactus essentially.
Right.
That's essentially what it boiled down to at the end.
And I agree with what you're saying, Damon, and I agree with what Joe is saying. Like, the idea here, I think they played it safe. And they said, we need to get the bullet points in there. And the bullet points are, first bullet point, people are upset with Marvel movies. So let's take this out of the Marvel morass and make it its own standalone, fun, silly Fantastic Four movie. Then we got to make sure we nail the Fantastic Four, and that is Rita's really smart. Sue is not just hot, she's smart in the heart of the family. Johnny is not just hot, apparently he's a cunning linguist too, or whatever. And the Thing is going to have a this man, this monster moment that we end up cutting from the film, but we'll get some of that, right? Okay, and that's all we need, And in doing so, I walked out going, hey, they made that Fantastic Four movie. It made me feel good. It was really great. I know other people that went, I've never cared about the Fantastic Four, and this movie didn't make me care about the Fantastic Four. Because there was almost like an opposite sort of reaction I heard from some people and some critics that I liked. They were like, look, if Marvel's going to fix things and Marvel's going to right this ship, they can't just give us a Fantastic Four movie that takes you out of the mess you're uncomfortable with for 2 hours and then drops you right back into the mess that you were uncomfortable with for 2 hours. Like, you got to convince me that you are fixing things. And one credit scene in the end that may or may not be doomed, I don't know if you noticed, in the credits, when they show the music by Alan Silvestri, it says "Doom?" ? Like, they're fucking with us. They are fucking with us. And also,
I want to.
Rocket ship in the end of the Thunderbolts? The rocket ship in the end of the Thunderbolts. Is this going to be a thing? Or is this going to be like that time that Bucky became a congressman and we never fucking talked about it again? Like, what are we doing?
We did talk about it. We talked about it for an entire 2-hour movie.
No, we did not.
I mean, it kind of is absurd.
Earlier this summer. Yes, we did.
Listen, that's the other thing I do want to say too. I'm happy that they left the multiversal stuff until the mid-credit, because obviously at this point you got to tie it in at this state.
Right.
But I tell you what, at one point when I saw that rocket ship at the end of Thunderbolts, and I was saying to myself, oh no, that world is dead. The more I thought about it, I kind of would have been pissed if they went that route to end the movie, only because it's like, oh well, here we go, right into the multiverse. It's just this thing instead of actually, focusing on this movie.
I actually kind of respected that this movie is its own thing and that it did not end in service of anything else in the Marvel machine.
No, and they had to do that.
Other than to introduce the characters.
They had to do that to play it safe.
Yeah, and they could have done, like Jim brought up Blade being teased at the end of Eternals. In all fairness to Mahershala Ali and the Eternals credit cookie, that was supposed to be the plan.
Right.
Like, we were supposed to get a Blade movie. It was supposed to be come and gone by now. And Marvel couldn't get its shit together. And now they have, quote unquote, no immediate plans for Blade.
Well, also, the Eternals tanked. So they were like, anything that touched the Eternals, we're putting on the back burner until we figure out what happened.
See, and I don't think that. I don't think that the Blade would have been affected by Eternals.
You want a weird turn.
You want to bet?
Blade in
I guarantee
everybody already knows who Blade is.
I guarantee the money people that don't give a shit about you or your comic book feelings went, anything that's touched is verboten. Get rid of it. No.
But that's not what the problem was with the Blade movie.
I agree.
They had directors that they couldn't hang on to.
I'll bet that's where it started. And they were like, we're going to make this the best. We're going to retool it 1,000,000 times. And everybody was like, this is a mess. Get me the fuck out of here. Regardless.
And it's like, you guys, and they came up, they had this ludicrous statement where it's like, we can't just put a leather trench coat on Mahershala Ali and have him fighting vampires. Well, that is literally the only thing anybody
agrees. But
that statement, I couldn't believe.
There you go.
There's no way they said that.
This is what the money people are saying, Joe. But let's go back to Fantastic Four.
Sorry.
So again, with the Reed is the biggest problem, and Reed became a dummy. I totally agree, Jim, because in the end of that, Reed, knowing that there's these things going on in space, the way that he wants to solve this is not my problem. I'm going to kick you into my neighbor's yard next door, and you can deal with the giant rabid dog that was biting mine. That's going to be an issue, right?
I actually thought that the plan was going to be that they were going to transport the entire. When they started talking about moving the Earth, I thought that they were going to move the Earth into the 616 and the
Counter Earth.
Fantastic Four. Yeah. And it was going to be Counter Earth.
Counter Earth? Oh, God. No, that's too much. But I mean, it's too much if you go with like the high evolutionary version of Counter Earth. But if it's just like, it's another Earth on the other side of the sun. Oh, boy. That's easy. But what about, why no ultimate nullifier? Why no ultimate nullifier? Wouldn't that have like been the thing where Reed's like, instead of I'm gonna use the baby, oh, don't use the baby, I gotta use the baby, and then we're gonna punch him into somebody else in there. You could be like, look, this is a thing I can make, and it is so fucking scary. I don't know what else to do.
An alternate take to that, they could have. I mean, I'm not saying that that it necessarily would have been. Well, I guess it would have. It would have worked. What I was going to say was that they could have literally explored something in Galactus' ship, and that could have been the race against time. Like, oh crap, we found this thing.
That is the ultimate nullifier. Like, so the ultimate nullifier is an ancient cosmic artifact.
Right.
It's not something Reed builds. It's not even something that's typically found on Galactus' ship. Like in the original comics, the Watcher sends Johnny on this weird cosmic goose chase.
Yep.
It's a cosmic MacGuffin.
Sure.
And the ultimate nullifier is cool because it's got a cool name, but really it's just this thing that Reed can show Galactus and be like, "Hey,
I'll do it.
Don't make me turn this planet around."
But like, look, you could do something where you've got the Silver Surfer character who, kind of out of nowhere, goes like, "Yeah, you know what? I am kind of a hero."
I think she was.
I thought that they did the whole thing with Johnny like getting through to her. I thought that was done pretty well.
It was all right.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
It was all right, and she looked great. And I think she ended up looking better than I thought, like watching the TV spots and seeing the theater.
Certainly better than in the trailers, which is almost always the case with CGI.
Yep. Oh, she was so cool.
She was cool.
I like
awesome looking.
So that I have to say that scene, my favorite scene actually in the movie with the chase during the birth of Franklin.
That was great.
Holy crap.
That was great.
That was one of the better Marvel action scenes.
Running her fingers through the tube of like the like whatever they were going, like the black hole.
The warp speed.
And she's just pulling stars and like surfing the pipe. Yeah. I was like, whoa.
I was like, God damn.
And I thought that the fight scene with Galactus was incredible. Like,
that was great.
Say what you will about the plan. Like, yeah, I get it, man. Like, we're going to teleport Galactus away with the most obvious trap.
Right.
Like, you don't think Galactus understands what those things are that you built on the ground?
Mean, he clearly saw it. He was just like, hey, buddy, what the fuck are we doing here?
But, like, actually seeing the Fantastic Four try to fist fight Galactus was really fun. Yeah. And like him stretching Reed and that's all awesome.
Yeah, no, that was cool. And even Vanessa Kirby showing like, oh, look, Sue Storm is way more powerful than you think she is.
Sue Storm is the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four by far.
Yeah.
Yeah. She grabbed Galactus. I did like that little subtlety. By the way, God bless practical effects, because I forgot the actor's name for Galactus. That look on his face when he was being turned around by Sue was just like, oh, God. He's like, what is happening?
It was great. They did a lot of stuff that I really liked, but I do think they still played it very safe because Marvel is still in scared mode. And we're going to get, like we all know, there is a reset coming of some sort. So don't get too attached to this cast. Let's not forget, Pedro Pascal is like in his mid 40s. So he's not going to be around for the next 12 years doing this, But maybe that's better. Maybe we get.
I mean, if there's any character that you can pull off having be older, it's Reed. Like we talked about that with Tony as well.
Sure,
like, you don't have to have them be. Every time you see Reed in action, it's got to be CGI because you can't like human beings can't move that like that. The one thing that one of the things that I liked the most as far as like the portrayal of the powers, there is a habit in adaptations, specifically like DC cartoons have done it a lot, where they way weaken characters for the sake of drama, like where they show Superman struggling to do things. In the DCAU and things like that, where it's like, no, Superman should not have a problem doing this.
Right.
The Ben Grimm fucking hurls an entire crane, a skyscraper-sized crane, at Galactus like it's nothing. And I was like, yes, good. Because the thing should be almost as strong as the Hulk. That's how he should always be depicted.
I mean, I guess, but for some reason, whenever they fight, the Hulk kicks the shit out of him every time. So,
well, I mean, almost like he's not as strong as the Hulk, but he's up there.
No, the thing hauled a ship out of the ocean.
Yeah.
He hauled a ship out of the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put a chain
and it's
over his shoulder and walked out of the bay.
Yeah. This is a character that I would not be, if you told me this character can lift 80 tons, I would be like, yep.
For sure.
Makes sense.
And they made him look great.
So it's none of this like if he had grunted picking up that tiny car to I would have been pissed.
Come on, bro. Like, yeah, that's a little power scale.
They made him look great. His
Yeah.
powers were great. And I thought the portrayal of like Ben Grimm as a person was excellent. I like that.
Yes.
It was the opposite of what we've always had with Ben Grimm. Like, read Sue, he was quiet. He was embarrassed.
I love that little scene, and there are little moments too. I mean, obviously, like remember the time when he was in that space scene where he goes he gives Herbie the controls to go help deliver Franklin at the end, like cutting the umbilical cord. That was kind of sweet.
It was cute.
But I did also like some little.
I loved Ben as like the trusted family friend. Like he essentially delivers Franklin, I love all of that. And that was another thing is that people were making fun of the whole like Johnny cracking the code thing, but Johnny wasn't there just because he tagged along. He was there on that ship in the beginning because he deserved to be. And so like Johnny is skilled in at least something. And so I was like, yeah, sure.
I thought
Johnny
it was clever that they
Why not?
leaned into marketing knows Johnny is hot. Johnny's a guy that burns and like catches on fire, so we'll market everything
he's
like
egotistical.
he's
for sure.
hot stuff.
Yeah.
He's whatever. But Johnny at the end of the day is like, I mean, I know I'm good looking, but I'm also not like strutting around like, hey ladies, I'm single. Like his sister was like, he's single because she's trying to get him hooked up with somebody so he'll like quit dating a bunch of people or whatever. But he's not like,
I have a question for everyone.
Yeah.
So they seem to imply that Johnny was not obsessed, but when they said like Johnny was listening for signals, he wanted the recording of the signal from space. And I thought they were implying that something happened in the past and Johnny was listening for something, like he was obsessed with something. And
what it was is that
happened in the past, but they never explained it.
I guarantee that was left on the cutting floor too.
I believe it was essentially explained in that the FF started detecting these deep space signals.
Right.
Yep.
It's not that something happened to them. It's that they were detecting these signals and they say, it's like, oh, got another one. And how many is this now? Like 25 or 30 or whatever. And so like they've been collecting these deep space signals. And once John, like, I don't think Johnny cared about them until he heard Shalabal talk to him.
No, I think Johnny did because they kept saying Johnny loves space. Johnny wants to go back to space. Johnny's addicted to space.
Well, yes, right.
Like,
but I mean, it was when she spoke to him that he went, this is very familiar.
Well, let us know.
And that's when he became obsessive about the recording.
Sure, because
he had a collection of the golden disc that he was listening to.
Right.
Like previously, even before.
I did. That was a nice little retro future thing that I love where they had to burn everything onto vinyl.
Now, Anthony,
when the first signal came in and Reed recorded it,
yes,
he goes and tells Johnny, and Johnny gets all excited, and he says, "Do you have it?
Right.
Do you have the
that's
recording?"
true. That's true. Yeah.
So Anthony, let us not forget there was another movie where there were deep space signals coming from somewhere that we had to figure out. Now, it wasn't the main crux of the movie. This was a credit cookie in the Shang-Chi film where they're like, we're getting these messages from deep space and we think it might have something to do with the Eternals movie because we wrote this before we knew Eternals was going to fail.
They had no idea what they were. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So I don't know if there was something sort of like what Brian was saying with like the Ben Grimm shit that was left on the cutting room floor that would have tied this a little more to the Marvel U and deep space signals that might be part of whatever's going to happen with Doomsday or Battle World or what.
I really think it was just that they were detecting these signals and Johnny put it together. It's like, oh, this is who this is who we've been hearing.
I would be willing
when
to
she
bet.
said the language, when she said that line about, I'll go die with yours or whatever, that's when it
die with yours.
Like, right. It's like, wait a minute. It's just like,
but there's
because
also,
it wasn't like because the signals, when he decoded the signals, they weren't like warnings from deep space because of some other thing they're foreshadowing. It was societies of the world.
Sure.
Or no, it was messages of thanks to Shala Ball. Right?
Oh, yeah,
that's
right.
what it was.
Because she left. Because she basically sacrificed herself.
Because she saves Zen La.
Yeah, she saved her
And so
own
these
world.
messages were like, thank you, Shala Ball.
Not
thank
all
you.
of them. There are other ones where he played him for him, and he was like, "You remember this? People begging
There were
for
a
their
couple
lives."
that were like distress calls from planets that Galactus.
Yeah.
So if you're saying that,
Right.
like in the end of Shang-Chi, that's absolutely like how far of a bridge is it to be like, yeah, they heard it on Earth 616 too. This guy can travel.
Let's read.
Yeah, this guy can tear through dimensions and
Galactus
shit.
into the 616, and he starts eating them. He's like, "Oh no!"
Right.
Signals.
And the Silver Surfer went with him too. So the same, like, well, I guess we'll just run it again. New neighborhood, run it again.
Well,
You know?
I'm pretty sure that they're not on good terms wherever they ended up together at this point. I'm pretty sure they are not in very good terms with each other.
It is the perfect way, though, to say you kicked this character into my universe, making him my problem. I'm coming to get you because it's your problem. You made this my problem.
I mean, we're speculating a lot about like the what ifs and what it could be, but I think like we also started off this conversation talking about how this movie is just exactly what it says on the tin.
Yep.
It's a movie about these characters, and that's it. The end.
Oh, except the end of the movie where it says the Fantastic Four will return in Avengers
Matt,
Doomsday.
I understand. I get all that, Matt. Like parts of that are the marketing machine, but the credit cookie, they make a big deal about how like, oh, the credit cookie in Thunderbolts and the credit cookie in Fantastic Four, those were directed by the Russo brothers.
I'm not even talking about the credit cookie. I'm talking about the black and white words. The Avengers will return, or the Fantastic Four will return in Avengers Doomsday. That is what it says.
Understand.
So but
that's also part of. Yeah, I'm talking about the story of the movie that takes place up until the credits roll.
Yes, I get that.
Like there's nothing in that movie that's like, oh no, this is a signal from another universe. Like
100%. I don't think
they're not. They were not teasing anything multiverse in this movie,
except for the dimension that they tore open through the black hole that kicks Galactus out of their universe. Except for that.
No, it wasn't.
They were universe of their universe.
He was teleporting. He was teleporting Galactus. It wasn't a hole to a parallel dimension.
No.
He was teleporting Galactus to the other side of their universe.
That's
so
an even
take millions of years to come back.
That's an even worse plan. That's an even worse plan at that point, Reed. Like that makes you even dumber. Galactus.
Why? They'll all be long dead. By the time Galactus comes back, they'll be long dead.
Not necessarily. How do they know how fast he can go? How do they know that? Like, what if he can go? Oh, blip! I'm right back. You know.
He was able to make that egg go across the room, so he knows that it definitely worked.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
This is a pretty typical Reed solution.
I mean, they know that Galactus can't just blip back because he's got to fly there in a ship. Like they know that the ship is approaching. It's going to take them a month to get. It's going to take Galactus a month to get through the solar system.
Do they know that
they talk about it in the movie?
Do they know the ship wasn't in neutral, or did they just assume that? Like, what if the ship has like nitrous, like a Fast and Furious car? Come on.
At a certain point, you got to stop coming up with reasons why it's wrong and just take it for what it is. Like it's what it is because that's what the movie says is what it is.
I understand, but we know that we're getting Bizarro because Superman kicked Superman clone into a black hole, sending him to another.
We think that we're going to.
And in the end of this movie,
that's my theory.
We saw Galactus get kicked into a machine that maybe it wasn't a black hole, maybe it's the other end of the universe or something, but I guarantee I know where he's going, and it's not the other end of the Fantastic Four's universe.
Listen, he'll be back. I mean,
millions of dollars I would put on that.
We know that they didn't kill him.
Yeah, they didn't kill him, and they didn't kill the Silver Surfer.
I mean, I don't know that we necessarily will ever see Galactus again.
We'll see.
Because why would you need to do this? You know, I feel like maybe you could say we'll see the Silver Surfer.
We're gonna get Galactus.
Yeah,
we absolutely get Galactus again. No
problem. But Galactus is such a huge, big character that the story is very, very simple. Galactus wants what's on Earth.
Oh, and you're right. And there is no other Earth that we need to worry about.
My shot with the multiverse thing. All I was going to say was, can you imagine if they a part of stopping? Because we know Battle World is coming. Can you imagine Reed's big idea is to like, well, I know one creature that eats planets.
Yeah.
Sick Galactus.
Maybe that could be, and so maybe we'll see Galactus play a part in Secret Wars. That would be cool.
I'm telling
not
you.
saying I don't want it to happen.
He has been in Secret Wars, to be fair. He has.
Right. Like in the original Secret Wars comic, Galactus does come to eat Battleworld.
You also introduced the biggest bad we've ever seen in the Marvel universe outside of Thanos. And and he's gone.
I'm not saying that. I'm not let me rephrase then what I was saying. I don't think that it's impossible we'll see Galactus again, but I think that there are so many different Fantastic Four stories and so many more compelling Fantastic Four villains that can actually engage with the characters on like a more mortal level, like Dr. Doom or sure.
I love Mole Man, man.
Like Mole Man. Or like the Super Scroll.
Great performance in Mole Man. The problem is, Joe, we don't have that time. We're going right into Avengers Doomsday and then Battleworld and then new Marvel Universe.
And it's exactly because we don't have that time that I don't think we will get another Galactus comes for the Earth kind of.
I don't think it'll be. I'll say this though. I don't think he'll be in Fantastic Four. If they bring him back, it's going to be sometime before the big reset that we apparently are heading towards. He'll probably pop up as a cameo, maybe as a plot point in one of those next Avengers movies. That's what I'm thinking.
Ian, you've been trying to say something.
Yeah, no, it's totally cool because I haven't seen the movie, but it just listening to the discussion about it, it makes me like my initial guess when I saw the first trailer, and it turns out obviously it's not that, but like my question is like, are we gonna get another Infinity War in the MCU?
Yes.
Like, are we gonna get another movie where the good guys lose? Because I feel like that is the thing that really kind
Doomsday. I bet you. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Doomsday was that movie.
Yeah.
I just feel like it won't be as earned. I thought this was a real opportunity for Reed to have a plan that was smarter than everybody in the audience, and for the plan to succeed but fail. Right? Like, maybe it I appreciate not bringing everything into the multiverse, but I just kind of assumed that like this would kind of lead us to Incursion, right?
It might.
I bet you that it will in the Avengers movie, in the first of the next two Avengers movies.
They can't resist. This is what Marvel does. And while I agree, Joe, yes, there is a rich tapestry of Fantastic Four ideas. But Marvel every time goes, nope, we're only playing in our movie universe. And guess, you know where we branch out? In What If, where we have very slight tweaks of ideas from our movie universe.
Right. But you know what they don't do is repeat the same villains over and over and over. Like,
I'm not saying he's the biggest bad. I'm saying he definitely figures in, and he's a huge part of whatever happens.
Yes, I agree. But I think that he will be a plot point, not a major part of,
Yeah, and I'm very curious, whatever the next Fantastic Four, if there is even a single movie, but if they're going to do this, and I think it's not like a spoiler to say this for the Avengers movie, if they do a retread or whatever they're going to do with this new universe, what is the Fantastic Four going to look like in that new universe? Is it going to be like a rewritten one where they combine the 60s version? Are they going to go back to their world? I mean, I don't know at this stage where it's going to end up. So
we'll have to see.
That's going to determine, I guess, what happens next with the Fantastic Four is.
That will determine whatever the fuck happened with that Thunderbolts Fantastic Four rocket is my guess. That's where we find out one way or another.
Probably, yeah.
I am thinking now about how Marvel has come out and said that Reed is the leader of the Avengers in Avengers Doomsday.
Lame.
Did they say
whatever that means?
Lame.
I don't think he's the biggest star in the whole thing. The biggest star. That's why.
Well, but I mean, it's a movie. It's a movie that also includes all of the X-Men from Fox, and is he the biggest star in a movie that also has Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen? I don't know.
Yes, he is. He 100% is. He absolutely is, because they're old men.
That's why they cast him as Reed Richards, not because he was the best choice, but because he's an A-list on TV.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So they're going to put him front and center, and I mean, when they do a reboot, are we going to get a whole new Fantastic Four 6 years from now,
Probably.
8 years from now, and people are going to be like, who are these Fantastic Four? It's going to be a
probably.
I guess that's just what they do with the Fantastic Four. But
and when you have this many people that they have cast for this movie, no, they all can't be stars in the movie. Patrick Stewart,
no,
Ian McKellen,
not, right?
If they're in that movie for more than 10 minutes, I'll be shocked. It'll be
I also
right.
It couldn't last more than 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I was reading something too, by the way. I don't know Marvel outright said that Reed is going to be the central point. I think somebody had noted, and I don't know if it's Kevin Feige or even Pedro Pascal himself. I think they noted that he's not the lead or the leader, but he is going to obviously play a huge point, huge point in the movie. He's not going to be a background part. But I don't think he's leading.
So, I mean, if you wanna use the Hickman Secret Wars as like a roadmap, right? If that is what we're gonna get,
I think it is. I think we're gonna get as close to that as possible.
I mean, I think so as well. Yep. But it's essentially like you can say that Reed is the leader of the Avengers. Sure, I mean, I guess technically, but the Avengers aren't going to be what we think of them now.
No,
it's not going to be like a team with a roster. It's going to be like, no, these are the heroes of Earth assembled to stop Dr. Doom and the incursions.
Well, it's going to be, we're all Avengers now. Like, let's avenge.
Right, exactly.
I mean, that's what happened in the Hickman run, to be fair. Everybody was
I mean, at the end of Endgame, that's what happens at the end of Endgame, right? Where they all come out of the portals.
Everybody.
They make jokes about it in the Guardians. Rocket Raccoon makes a joke about it in Guardians 3.
Is an Avenger.
He's like, back off, I'm an Avenger. And they're like, you're not an Avenger. You were Avenger for a minute. He's like, I'm in. They said we were Avengers.
Yeah. And so I think that's probably like what we're going to get is like Reed leading the heroes of Earth because he's the smartest person in the room.
Right.
And not because he's like the best leader.
And when Cap, Cap does come back and everyone's like, oh my God, Cap's back. And then Doom instantly murders him. You watch. I'm like, oh my God.
I want to say this. I'm not saying that I'm looking forward to this because I still have my doubts about the RDJ's Doom thing, like many people. But I did see Robert Downey Jr. did put it, I forgot which cover it was, but it was Doom versus
It was
Iron
that
Man.
Avenger. It was well, maybe there was another one, but the one that I saw was he did an issue of West Coast Avengers that Matt and I reviewed on the show.
Yes, you did.
That West Coast Avengers where it's just Doom's face real close up. It's like 34 or 35, one of those. Mm-hmm. So the secondary market immediately blew up with people trying to buy that comic.
Yeah. What I was going to say was I could totally see a world when they do the Secret Wars movie where even for a brief moment, I say brief, they could introduce a Tony Stark variant, or at least they call in on a Tony Stark variant. Then we get RDJ versus RDJ because, of course, Disney and Marvel can't.
Yes, of course. We just
having their biggest star fight himself.
Yes, we just had Superman versus Superman. Just like Ian said, you're paying one actor for two things. Of course, you're gonna get something along those lines.
Did you guys see that at the blue carpet premiere, the Hollywood premiere for Fantastic Four? Yahya Abdul-Mateen II showed up in character as Simon Williams.
Yes, I did.
I did not. That's awesome, though.
Yeah, listen, he did an interview as Simon Williams.
We're seeing a lot of Simon's name dropped all over the
thing, but I just got a sneaking suspicion. Also, because I love that actor, it might be a sleeper in terms of entertainment.
It could be a lot of fun. But you will notice they are dropping his name all over the place recently. Like even in comics, like I just suddenly. What was I reading? I was catching up on Ultimate Spider-Man. I was catching up on Ultimate Spider-Man, and they made like just a reference. We're like, whatever, it worked for Simon Williams. They're like, yeah, but look how Simon turned out. And they're like, oh yeah, good point. It's like, oh man, they're gonna lean into this. All right, I gotta go. We're over time. This was great, excellent discussion. We will have a new comic show this week to watch for that, and then we'll be back next week. And we'll talk about comics and movies and TV. Jimbo. We'll talk about Sandman. Let's give everybody some time to watch Sandman.
Strange New Worlds. People have been wanting to talk about.
We'll talk about that. I'm catching up on that as well.
Eyes of Wakanda started this week.
Oh,
the Black Panther animated.
It quietly started this week. Oh my God, I had no idea.
Yeah, I wish they marketed it a little bit more, but whatever.
Yeah.
Who knew?
That's right.
It's only a 4-part series, so it's not like a big whole.
We're trying to get all this stuff done before we reset. We got to set it up. All right, let's get out of here.
Hammer it in, baby.
This is a Two-Headed Nerd signing off. See you guys next week.